Good morning, everybody. I am doing a no boil ale brew day today. I am actually technically working and I will be working, but I haven't been feeling particularly grand just with, yeah, it's just a bit of a cold, really. So, fortunately, in my industry, I get a chance occasionally to work from home. So, I'm going to be working from home this morning, and what I'm going to do is do this no boil ale. What I'm going to do, well, I actually looked in the garage recently. I was just doing a bit of a clear up of just general stuff, and I found, a bit like Josh Sikor found last year, earlier on this year sometime, found a bucket full of pre-measured grain that he'd obviously measured out at some point. I also had the same. I have no idea how, but it was only a small amount, so just enough to do a 1 gallon brew job, which is good because that's all you want to do with these no boil ales. I added a bit of biscuit malt and stuff like that to it, and a bit of crystal malt as well to it. So I think it's probably mainly pale malt or golden promise. I'm not sure, but uh, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do basically mash that in at 65 degrees. I'm going to put it in the oven, preheated oven. Just the oven will just be at 50 degrees, so it's not going to be heating it up. It's just keep helping it retain some temperatures, just ensure that it doesn't drop ridiculously or whatever. And it generally retains its heat anyway. So I'm just going to mash in, and I've got like a hop tea that I'm doing at the moment. I got 10 grams of Galena just in like a French press. Um, so it's had boiling water on it, and then what I've done is I've gone and put some foil around the cafetiere, and then I've put a tea towel around the cafetiere as well, just to try and retain some heat, to try and get a little bit of bitterness. What I'm going to do then is once the mash is done, I'm going to add the hop tea to it and then increase the heat up to 80 degrees just to pasteurize it, and I'm going to throw in some Simcoe and do a hop stand for 30 minutes. This is all going to be concurrent with me working, so it's not going to be a perfect brew, but it's just a little bit of fun. So that's what I'm going to do, and then chill it down, and then pitch some yeast. Just got some SO4 um, that I harvested a little while ago, so again I can just use that, bring that up to room temperature, which I should probably do now, and then just add a little bit. And what I normally do is I just add a little bit of brewing sugar, or just sugar, just to wake it up a little bit and bring it up to room temperature and just let it bloom a little bit, and then pitch the yeast. So that's what I'm going to do, but I do have work to do as well. Um, it's just one of those days where you feel like you don't really want to do too much personing. Um, but I've got a few minutes. I've got about 10 minutes before work starts, so hopefully I can get the mash done, and then I can crack on with some work, and then maybe just do a bit in the technical break time. You get 15 minutes every 4 hours by law here, so I can justify that. I don't smoke cigarettes. People go out for smoke breaks, so I think I can justify it to myself. So in a bit. Yeah, ceramic hobs and these fucking things takes forever to get this water up to temperature. So it's almost there. It's almost there, but my tip for people who are using these, don't fucking bother. Or if you are going to bother, just put it in two little pans or something, small pans. There's like several. Excuse the. It's really hard to get anything off these things. Um, just put it on several in little pots, and then just combine it into the big pot when it's up to temperature. That would make life much easier. Right, so we're at 69, 70 degrees. That's good enough for me. So I put the grain bag in. The heat's still on right now because this would have chilled it down a little bit because it's been in cold water. Um, One-handed brewing. So I will do some stirring shortly. I like dealing with these smaller grain bills. Back to the way I used to do it. I say I used to do it. We're talking 18 months ago, not even that. Much easier to hold in one hand. That's what she said. No, she didn't. Hang on. Less of that, Matty. Right. That's that. JP Chenet. Not mine. Not feeling up to drinking at the moment. In this pot. So I put in a full volume pretty much. I put in 6 litres of water. It's nice just to be able to, I mean, it's quite a thin mash. Nice to be able to just move stuff around without too much trouble. I'm going to take that off the heat now. I think I've just spilt some water over it. I'm going to get a GoPro or a GoPro equivalent at some point, so you'll actually see a bit more brewing footage from me in future. So that's pretty much that there. Let's see how we're doing for temperature. Not used to doing these smaller batches these days. Takes a little while for this thing to catch up. Hell's that on there? Yeah, little hot spots. Just put it in the middle of the mash. Still climbing. That's pretty much what I was aiming for. Take that. Right, so what I do now is I just bung this bad boy on. I move it into the oven. I did say I preheated it at 50 degrees, but it's actually closer to 60 degrees, which is fine. I didn't want it to go up, I just don't want it to go down, so yeah, I'm going to put it in now. Obviously I can't film myself doing that because I need 2 handles. So I'm taking this thing out of the oven every sort of 15 minutes or so to stir, just to get the efficiency up. Just a quick stir, just to help coax some of the sugars out. 15 minutes, it's a 60-minute mash. Put this thing back. This would have been, wish that would flip like a phone. Hang on. Here we go. Right. Come on. I think I got that for 99p from eBay. Nice and cheap. But it takes its time to catch up with the actual reading. Yep, so that's pretty much not dropped at all so far. So on with the lid again, in the oven it goes, and then we'll do the rest. So that's the mash done for an hour, so I pull the bag away. I'm not left-handed, so this could go horribly wrong. So I'm just twisting this off. I've given it a stir already, just to get some of the extra sugars out of the grains. It's not particularly heavy, so this is alright. It's not like you need a winch, just pure human strength. I would advise to squeeze the bag. Don't worry about that bollocks that people bang on about tannins. You're not going to extract tannins unless you're absolutely boiling the shit out of it. If you excuse my language today, it's rather bad. But yeah, squeeze the heck out of it. Get as much out of it as possible. You're obviously absorbing liquid, but also you've got sugars in there that need to get in here. So, but I need 2 hands to do that, so I'm going to do that now and add the hot tea. So, big unveiling of my French press cafetiere. So yeah, it's wrapped in that foil. Boil the water. As you can see, nice green substance. Just plunge that. This is just for bitterness. This isn't for flavour, aroma. Sorry, one-handed. So just add that. Now, as you can see, this one, a lot of you guys who've got some seriously clear work, probably going to be having kittens. But yeah, that's not going to be clear right now. I think it's going to be a case of time and stuff like that, and probably the yeast will eat a lot of this up. But yeah, so I've got the heat on here, just getting this up to temperature. That should have helped a little bit. It's probably just getting around 70 degrees. But yeah, as I said, I think it's about 10 grams of Simcoe, which is what, not even half an ounce. I think it's about 10 grams of Simcoe. Maybe I should weigh it out. But just left over from my SJ Pour brew, which I haven't seen any reviews of yet, which I'm quite nervous about. But I'm sure it'll be up and coming, and there are things that I didn't like about it. That's, I think I've probably covered that enough. I'd love to say exactly what I don't like about it, because then I can say told you so when you see the videos. But anyway, I've got some Simcoe left over from that, so that's going to go in here. This is only 67 degrees, so this is going to take some time. I'm going to put the lid on and let this thing get up to temperature, up to 80 degrees, and then we'll add the Simcoe. Well, it's now at 80 degrees, buds. That was a little shout out to Harry there. In goes your blooming Simcoe. Turned off the heat now on there. That wasn't that much, was it really? Just give it a bit of a stir, my babbers. I think I'll just give that a 20-minute hop stand. So we've been hanging around for quite some time, and I've got things to do, so yeah, I'll let that do its thing, and then I'll start chilling it down. So I'm now chilling this bad boy down in the sink. As you can see, I'm running some water down the side, and like to mix it around a bit to let the heat get out through the sides, so that it's not just extracting heat from the outside and retaining it in the middle. And what I do is I change the water from time to time, so I'll get it up to the level of the beer, the wort, and then I'll sort of try and coax the heat out of this, and then when the water's warm enough, I'll then let it back out and then fill it back up again until it's at a reasonable pitching temperature. Some people use ice, some people even put like top up water in here and blah blah blah. I'm not going to do that because I think it's going to be quite a low gravity beer, so I don't really want to water it down anymore. I had a little taste of from the trial jar. It's still got a cool down in the trial jar, but yeah, it's tasting pretty pretty hop forward, and you know there's bitterness in there. Um, but yeah, I just don't know what sort of level we're talking in terms of gravity, so I will report back. So I've now transferred the wort into here. It's still slightly above pitching temperature, but that's not a problem. So I've just drained the water out of there. So there's me slurry. It looks lovely, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the contents of the trial jar and then add it to that to then pitch. So this is now down to temp. This camera is awful, so it's probably not going to give you much. I have no idea what to expect. Ooh, lovely. Okay. That is looking like, if I can even put it on where the camera is actually. It's 1050. I'd say 1052, I think, to verify that, but 1052 is much better than I was expecting. So what I'll do is I'll take this out now. Add it to this. And I'll pitch this delicious slurry shortly. So it's time to get them yeasties in. As you can see, there's not a huge amount of headroom, so I might end up putting a blow-off tube in it. Here we go, slurry-tastic. There's probably some chunky bits at the end. Oh baby. Yeah, the yeast is going to have a field day in that. Get to work and fly my pretties fly. So for now I'm just going to put this airlock on. It's got a bit of star sun in it. Obviously a bit cloudy, but I didn't care about the cloudiness. I know you're supposed to worry about it because of the pH and all that bullshit, but to be honest it's acidic, so it's gonna, and to be honest it doesn't even matter what's in there as long as it keeps the crud from coming in, then that's all that matters. So that is a sort of, well, don't know what colour you would call that, but it's gonna clear out. It's gonna settle down. Obviously, I've just kicked up a load of stuff, but yeah, I'm looking forward to trying it. I think it's gonna be good. And the yeast that I pitched also, it came from the Citra Pale Ale, so there is some kind of Citra scent and waft from it, aroma, so that might transfer into this beer as well. It was really intense. So looking forward to trying this one. Yeah, over and out. Tasting video I'm sure will come along sometime. Cheers.